Have you ever wondered how much celebrities make in residuals from their one-time appearance on a show? Ken Jennings revealed that he still earns money from his The Simpsons episode in 2017, but it is certainly not enough to live on. The Jeopardy host shared a photo of his residual check on Instagram on November 13th. Small residual checks are always funny, but I'm finally posting one because it's 1 cent. I did it, he wrote, really clinging to my current job with both hands now, because apparently my foreign residuals for a 2017 Simpsons episode are not paying the bills. Spy magazine used to send 13-cent checks to rich people to see who would actually deposit them. Answer: only 2 people did, a Saudi arms dealer and Donald Trump. Jennings ended. The Post had a check for 1 cent from Fox Corporation, signed by a man named Gary L. Hauser. Ken Jennings appeared in the season 28 episode titled The Caper Chase, which premiered on April 2, 2017. According to the Simpsons wiki, the episode's synopsis was Mr. Burns goes to Yale and discovers, much to his dismay, how politically correct it is, so he starts his own college, Burns University, which is similar to another billionaire's university you might have heard of lately, and Homer is hired as a professor. Jennings played himself and was one of the educators that Homer met at Bourbon Verlander's private estate. Who is glad to meet you, the Jeopardy champion told Homer when they met. Homer also met Neil deGrasse Tyson, Robert McKee, and Suze Orman. However, Jennings doesn't have to rely on income solely from that performance. He currently hosts Jeopardy and earned $4,370,700 from his 74-game streak in tournaments. According to the leaderboard of legends, Jennings also writes books and has appeared on numerous game shows, so he is not hurting for money, but he thought his payout of a penny was funny. When Ken Jennings made his animated debut on The Simpsons back in 2017, fans were thrilled. The record-breaking Jeopardy legend, famous for his 74-game winning streak and razor-sharp intellect, fit right into Springfield's tradition of featuring iconic pop culture figures. But for years, one question lingered in the minds of viewers: how much did Ken Jennings actually earn from that appearance? This week, Jennings finally opened up, lifting the curtain on a surprising truth that left fans buzzing. His revelation not only highlighted the quirky side of television royalties but also showcased just how unpredictable cameo earnings can be, even for one of the most recognized faces in QUIZ show history. A candid admission from America's Quiz King. All started during a light-hearted Q&A segment Jennings filmed for an upcoming Jeopardy digital special. A fan asked, "Ken, what's the smallest royalty check you've ever received?" Jennings laughed, shook his head, and immediately thought back to his Simpsons appearance an episode titled The Cad and the Hat. "That's an easy one," he admitted. "My Simpsons royalties are, let's say they won't buy me dinner." The audience chuckled, but Jennings leaned in, clearly eager to give specifics. And he did. The number fans didn't expect. Jennings revealed that his annual royalty for the 2017 cameo often comes in at amounts so tiny, they feel more like a novelty than a paycheck. "I get checks for $4.37 sometimes. Once, I got one for $2.08, and the smallest one so far was for 57 cents, he said, laughing. "I think the stamp on the envelope cost more than the check." The room erupted into laughter, but for fans, it was a fascinating look behind the scenes. Many people assume that big shows like The Simpsons, one of the longest-running animated series in television history, pay its celebrity cameos huge sums, but that assumption couldn't be further from reality. In the world of TV royalties, it's all about how many times the episode replays and where it airs, Jennings explained. Sometimes that means a few bucks. Sometimes that means less than the coins in your couch. Why cameo royalties are so Honesty revealed a lesser-known truth about the entertainment industry. Most cameo roles, especially those for animated shows, don't come with blockbuster checks. Actors who make brief appearances, including celebrity guests, usually earn a one-time session fee for recording small residual payments based on reruns, international airings, and streaming. Because The Simpsons features hundreds of celebrities and has shifted heavily to streaming in recent years, residuals for minor roles have shrunk dramatically. Jennings put it simply: it's not the kind of income you retire on. It's more like a fun reminder that you were on a legendary show, and fun is exactly how he treats it. He even admitted that he saves the smallest checks and keeps them in a folder labeled, "Proof I was on The Simpsons." why Ken agreed to the cameo anyway. Jennings didn't hesitate when producers invited him to appear in the episode. To him, it wasn't about money, it was about joining a pop culture institution he had loved since childhood. "I grew up watching The Simpsons," he said. For a kid from Seattle who spent his youth memorizing trivia and quotes from the show, being animated into Springfield felt surreal. He recalled walking into the recording booth and seeing scripts filled with jokes aimed at his Jeopardy persona. "They squeezed more comedy into 30 seconds than I could have imagined," he said. "The writers are geniuses. It was an honor." Even more touching was how warmly the cast treated him. Jennings revealed that voice acting legend Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson, welcomed him with more enthusiasm than I deserved. "That day is one of my favorite memories," he said, "and honestly, I'd have done it for free." The episode that fans still re-watch, The Cat in the Hat, remains a favorite among fans for its quirky humor and for the brief but memorable inclusion of Jennings. In the episode, Ken's animated self delivers a quick-witted line, poking fun at both his intelligence and his Jeopardy legacy. For viewers who know Jennings' dry sense of humor, it was the perfect fit. Since 2017, the episode has continued to rerun in syndication and on streaming platforms, which is why those tiny royalty checks keep showing up in Jennings' mailbox like clockwork. Every few months, I see an envelope from Fox and think, my 80 cents has arrived. Jennings joked what fans said after his revelation. Once Jennings' comments about his tiny royalties spread online. Fans reacted instantly. Social media erupted with memes, jokes, and appreciation posts. Some fans wrote things like, "Ken Jennings is literally being paid in Simpsons pocket change. In fact, he gets 57 cents is the most Simpsons thing ever. Ken should frame those checks and auction them for charity. They'd be worth more than the royalties." Others, however, found the revelation surprisingly inspiring. One fan wrote, "To know someone as successful as Ken Jennings still gets small royalty checks reminds me that fame doesn't always equal fortune, but passion matters." Jennings liked that comment, writing back, "Passion and 57 cents. What this says about Ken Jennings today, since becoming the full-time Jeopardy host alongside mayim Bialik, and eventually the sole host. Ken Jennings has continued to embrace his career with humility, humor, and genuine love for the fans. His willingness to laugh at himself and openly discuss something as trivial as a 57-cent royalty check proved once again why audiences adore him. Jennings has navigated fame in a way that feels grounded and relatable. He doesn't pretend to live an extravagant Hollywood lifestyle. In fact, he often jokes about how his career is a blend of running, trivia competitions, hosting Jeopardy, writing books, doing podcasts on, occasionally receiving tiny checks in the mail. As he puts it, not many people can say they were on The Simpsons and got paid enough to maybe buy a stick of gum. A legacy built on wit, not wealth. Ken Jennings may not have earned thousands or even hundreds from his Simpsons cameo, but in his eyes, the experience was priceless. It added another chapter to the story of a man who has built his career on embracing fun opportunities, saying yes to unusual challenges, and laughing every step of the way. He summed it up perfectly. "Being on The Simpsons is something I'll tell my grandkids about. The royalties, maybe I'll show them the 57-cent check too." In a world where celebrities often hide behind mystery, Jennings' transparency and humor are refreshing, and fans agree. The man who made quiz show history continues to win hearts, not because of a paycheck, but because he's willing to pull back the curtain and share the joke with all of us.